All right, here we go. Another week of the look out here. Week 11 now. Getting down to it now. A few more weeks. It's Thanksgiving, and the postseason stress for a lot of teams, and the stress should be on for a lot of those teams on the bubble, as we got a lot of compelling matchups here this weekend. Obviously, we're coming off of one of our most compelling live look back shows of all time. Won't be as crazy today, obviously. It's just Matt and I, but still, see what we can do here for these next few minutes, next hour or whatever minutes we have. But let's get to the matchups here. All right, so we don't on the
Well, the good
surface.
thing for you,
What were you gonna say?
I was going to say the good thing for you is the Colts are on a bye this week, so you shouldn't have to hear your boy Johnny B running his mouth about his Colts all
Oh,
weekend.
he's still running his mouth. Trust me. The funny thing was before the show, and this is the second time he did this. Before our Wednesday show, I didn't hear from him for like a half a week. I heard nothing. And then all of a sudden last night, he's blasting about how the Colts could fall to third place because they are on a bye and the Broncos and the Patriots won and all this other bullshit. So we're still going to hear from him. Should he be on every day talking about that? No. And I don't think he will be, but trust me, he'll I mean that Chiefs Broncos game will obviously be something he's going to watch with open cynical eyes on
Yeah, well,
tomorrow.
I mean, if before that last show, if you didn't hear from him for a week, I mean, that's pretty. I can tell you exactly why, because the week before that, his Colts lost, so he, just like a Cowboys fan, just went and hid underneath the rock the whole week.
Yeah. Yeah, by the way, without and our Forberg guy John Smith, we went to this wrestling show. Not to get off topic, went to this wrestling show. We went to the dollar store. I had to go get something for my mom, and we saw a Dallas Cowboy fan in there working and ring. Yeah, so yeah, you can find him anywhere. He wasn't wearing no Dollar Tree gear. He was just wearing all his Cowboy stuff, like most losers do. And speaking of losers, that's still one of the great things. Can call him a loser, I don't know if that stick to him, but that's one of the more hilarious things we ever. We got a lot out of Kenny out Johnny B. But let's not talk about him. It's not about him, and his Colts are off this week. So, but there's plenty of teams that are. And let's get back to it. We don't have a we don't have a unanimous pick out of caution for some of these matchups, but we'll get to some of these matchups. Our rapid fire, quick, no huddle thing, shotgun. Obviously, Houston for the second straight week will not have C.J. Stroud, but they pulled off one of the monster comebacks that we've seen this year, and they're still in the playoff mix, in the playoff hunt. They're playing Tennessee, who's coming off of a bye, and even though they're terrible, they do play tough sometimes. We've seen Tennessee at times try to pull upsets. Do they keep this going? Do they try to at least, without C.J. Stroud, make this game interesting to keep Houston from gaining any more ground in the playoff race? Go quickly to this.
Oh, you want to actually? You were just
Yeah,
doing
we
a
go
quick
through this rapid
thing.
fire. You don't
Yeah,
have to say much. Just your
yeah. I'm not even gonna
thought.
bother talking about Tennessee. Man. Houston wins this one. I'll put the final score at let's say uh, let's say 23-13.
Yeah, this is one of my picks for the week in our pick'ems. Obviously, Houston with Davis Mills, no big threat, but they came from behind to win that game. This game is on the road, and Houston obviously hasn't been great on the road this year, but They beat my Ravens, but that was when they were hurt. But obviously, they should be able to beat Tennessee. Tennessee's coming off of a bye. I don't think they'll be a threat much. So give me the Texans. Their defense is better, 24-10.
Okay.
Speaking of my Ravens, they are looking for their fourth consecutive victory after losing four straight. They're looking for their fourth consecutive victory on the road again this week. Three of those four games. This is their third consecutive road game. They're playing in a place that should be tough, but has been very tough for teams this year. The Cleveland Browns, and they've been basically away for a month. They haven't been at home for over a month. So they'll be glad to be back home in Cleveland. They'll be there for a while. Cleveland, gives up the second least points at home this season of any team. But my Ravens smoked them in the first matchup. Should this momentum continue, or will it be a better game this time for Cleveland? Go ahead.
It won't be a better game for Cleveland, man. They're trash. They're one of the worst in the league. Baltimore with Lamar Jackson back is probably going to start to make a run towards the playoffs, and they win this one easy. Final score 34-10.
Like I said, I can't deny how much the Cleveland Browns defense is tough at home. They have been very good at home this year, and yeah, there's no doubt of how bad they are. They're not a great team, and they're not making the playoffs. But in Cleveland, they do play very good defense, and Myles Garrett is having another All Pro year. Remember, even even in a loss, he had 5 sacks on his own, and like I said, Lamar is still struggling with that hamstring. So, like I said, he's still not at 100%. Though he had another setback and injury this week, but he is going to play in tomorrow's game. It's a late game too, which could also affect them. It's going to be mostly a night game since it's a late afternoon start. So, but I think the Ravens will win. It won't be an easy game, but give me the Ravens and the final score 25-20.
Okay.
All right, we will move on to San Francisco and the Cardinals. Big news: Brock Purdy returns. He is back in the lineup on tomorrow after missing most of the season with the toe issues. But obviously, they're trying to stay in the playoff mix because it's pretty obvious where this division race in the NFC West is going. It's either going to be Seattle or the Rams, and we'll obviously get to that matchup later on as one of our marquee matchups of the week. This is not. The NFC West are playing each other again this week, but they're playing in Arizona. Does Arizona have enough to pull an upset to put the 49ers, who right now start this weekend on the outside looking in? They're the 8th seed in the NFC, would not make the playoffs as of now. Do the Cardinals have enough for an upset here in Brock Purdy's return? Go ahead.
Yeah. No, they don't have enough for an upset here, man. This is my lock of the week. 49ers are gonna blow them out. Brock Purdy doesn't have to be great in this game. He needs to manage the offense, just like Mac Jones has done. He doesn't have to go crazy because Christian McCaffrey's there, and he's going to have a huge game against this trash defense. And Jacoby Brissett is, not a good quarterback. The Niners are giving up 3 points on the spread. They're going to win. They're going to cover that easy. Lock of the week. I'm going with San Francisco and a final score of 29-16.
Oh, wow. Well, like I said, it's not like this 49ers team, even though they've played well with their record, it's not like they're scaring people. It's not like your favorite year, 2023. It's not that year for them. And obviously, I mean, with Brock coming back, we don't really know how good he's going to be, coming back from the toe injury and everything else. So, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see. In fact, Jacoby Brissett did such a great job, against the Cowboys. Of course, anybody can play against that garbage defense. But like I said, tough defense with the 49ers, but without a pass rush. So I expect Arizona to be competitive. Do I think they will win? Do I have a chance that they win this game? I do give them a chance, but I think the 49ers will find a way. They'll find a way to keep their playoff hopes alive here. So give me the 49ers in a walk-off field goal, 27-24. All right, we're
Okay.
going to Spain for the first time for an NFL game on Sunday morning. And of course, this is not a sexy matchup, but this is one of my other pick of the week. But obviously, Washington and Miami will be playing each other here. Like I said, Washington is basically done; they're finished. Miami's just basically a spoiler team at this point. But I know you don't really give a shit about this game. You're probably not even going to watch this game. You're probably even not. If you aren't working, you're probably still going to be in bed when this game begins. So give a quick score for this one.
I won't be. I wake up early, man. Even on my days off, I wake up at like 6:30. So, I won't be in bed, but I won't watch. But I can't say I don't 100% care about this game. Some fantasy purposes, I do care about how Devon Achane plays. Um, between the two, the only guy on my start lineup. Time he's really become a superstar running back this year, bet more than ever. He's been dominating. He dominated last week against Buffalo. Now they're playing a guard Washington defense. Washington is they're finished, man. I would be surprised if Dan Quinn has a job after this season.
Ah, yeah, Matt was having a little issues with his stuff. He'll be back here in a moment. But obviously, when you look at Washington, Miami, it's a great matchup. I mean, I'll watch a little bit. I probably won't watch much. These are two teams going nowhere. Like I said, they had expectations. Neither have lived up to it. Washington's banged up, and I just don't see where they win this game at all with Marcus Mariota. And like I said, I know Achane's played well this year. The Dolphins, like I said, they got lucky, and they're going to win back to back because now they're playing a team that's on their level. They caught Buffalo at a tough point, and that's good for them. But I'm going to go with Miami here. I think they win the game 31, 31-16. That's going to be my pick when Matt comes back on here. He'll be back on here in a moment. He's having a little difficulties. So we'll be ready to go here, hopefully in a few more minutes. All right. All right. You got your stuff fixed there? Can you hear me?
Hey, bro, can you hear me?
Okay, I hear you now.
I don't know what happened
Yeah.
there. I got like disconnected or something.
Yeah, it sounded like you were disconnecting. I don't know if you're in a tunnel or driving or whatever.
No, I'm nowhere special. I don't know. I don't know what happened there, but yeah, no, I'll just give you a score. I think Miami wins this one. They actually are. They played actually. Man, I'll say Miami wins this one. I don't know why. I mean, after that big win against Buffalo, it's probably going to be a letdown game for them anyway. But I'll go with Miami here. Final score. I'll say 31-23.
I don't think if you're playing Washington, it's not a letdown. They let themselves down. They let that fan base down. Like they expect like you were in the NFC Championship game 9 months ago, like 10 months ago. You were in the NFC Championship game. Now this team will be lucky if they win 2 or 3 more games this season. It's bad. Now, you did mention before you got cut off, you think Dan Quinn's job's on the line. I think they'll give him another year. I mean, he obviously did a very good job last year. I don't think he didn't win Coach of the Year, but he should have. I think they'll give him another year to bounce back. But obviously, this is a lost year for them, and I don't think they're going to. And I don't think they're going to win this game. I think Miami's going to win big. Achane obviously is one of your fantasy guys, so he's having a hell of a year. The only reason why this offense is worth a damn because it's not Tua, it's Achane. He's got a funny last name, but hey, but there's nothing funny about his game. He's one of the better runners in the league, sixth in the league in rushing right now. So, or fourth in the league in rushing right now. So he's doing well, and Miami will be all right. They'll get their first back-to-back wins of the year, 31-16. All right, we will go to a bigger, to an interesting. We'll go to the South. We'll go the Falcons and Panthers, another disappointing team, the Falcons, who are 3-6 now. Carolina at 500. Like I said, if a thought of weaknesses comes out of Tampa Bay, this is still a division battle for Carolina. But can the Falcons finally turn this around and make a run? Can they be that second half team nobody wants to see? Or does Carolina shut them down, their playoff hopes for good? Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to get too much into this game. This is two teams with disappointing first round quarterbacks playing right now. Obviously, Bryce Young has been awful again this year. It was awful for the first half of the season. Then he actually turned around, and people thought, "Oh man, maybe Dave Canales helped turn a corner," and he's not it. Here he's right back to what he was. Michael Penix, he's I was expecting more out of him this year. He's shown flashes, but he just isn't putting it to get together consistently. And I'm not sure if it's him or this coaching staff because this coaching is this play calling has been pretty awful. But he's also not playing that great. But then you look at like he missed a game and he got banged up in one, so he hasn't gotten in the game. He's been even worse. So I think this offensive coordinator, if not Raheem Morris, they might have their jobs on the line also right now. So yeah, man, this is just two bad teams. I'm not going to get too much to it. I'm gonna take yeah, I'm gonna take Packs and Falcons.
Oh. Yeah, he's still having audio issues. For this matchup, like I said, Carolina and Atlanta. Well, Carolina's hard to tell. They're 5-5, and they're only one game out of Tampa. They haven't even played them yet. I mean, are they disappointing? I don't know. I mean, Bryce Young isn't great, but Canales must be a really good coach to have this team at 500 and still in the playoff mix. And they could actually make the playoffs. When you look at Atlanta, they are a disappointing team. They're a team just terrible this year. They've looked bad in a lot of games that they should have won, and they played Carolina earlier this year and got blown out 30-0, which tells me that this team is just not good. Robinson is not gotten the focus on this offense as good as we thought it would be, and Penix has taken a step back that nobody expected. They expected him to be a top of the line quarterback. It has not happened yet, and we hope it will happen, but it's not happened so far this year. So I'm going to go with Carolina in this game. I think Carolina, yeah, Atlanta will show up, but I think Carolina is just a better team right now. They're the biggest threat to the Bucs, not the Falcons, and we'll see what happens here. So give me the Panthers and the final score 30-26.
All right. Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm just
It,
gonna. I'm not. I'm
I'll
just.
try to carry as best as I can. I'll carry you as best as I can. I got you. I got you.
Yeah, I'm just not gonna pull my notes up. It's something's messing up my phone, so I'm just gonna have to talk out of my ass here. No notes.
well. We know Johnny B likes to talk in and out of his mouth as
Yeah.
asshole. Anyway, so we're going to move on to an interesting matchup here in the North. Like I said, breaking news. After Thanksgiving, Joe Burrow will be back for the Bengals. Almost confirmed, according to Cincinnati radio host. They said that he'll be back after Thanksgiving. They have opened a 3-week window for him to return, and he has been practicing. He won't be starting in this game, but why not? The Steelers, like I said, uh, they might have put, we might it might have been that Colts game might have been the funny fun of the show, but we know the Steelers are not a very good team as of now, and barely hanging on to the lead in their division. Cincinnati knows that they could get if they could win this game, keeps them alive at least to keep their division hopes. It's slim. It's very slim because right now the Ravens are rolling. So, like I said, but since and they haven't even played yet, those two teams. But Joe Flacco, maybe his last start this season before Burrow returns, or they wait till after Thanksgiving. Who knows? But interesting matchup here. The old men's going at it again in a critical matchup in this division that unfortunately is not an elite division as far as records, but should be a fun division down the stretch here in the second half of the season. Go ahead.
All right. Well, yeah, we'll see about Burrow coming back. I guess um, you're saying he'll be back, but this team might be out of the playoffs by that point. Probably will be. So I don't even see the point in bringing him back at that point. But Flacco's been good since he went to Cincinnati, and
Uh-oh. Can you hear me? Ah, shit. Uh, all right. Can you hear me?
I,
All right. Can you hear me now?
can you hear me?
I can hear you. You just keep cutting in and out.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here, man. I'm just giving you a score. It's fucking Pittsburgh, um, 27-20.
All right. I'll be quick here. Like I said, this should be an interesting matchup. Like I said, these two teams met on Thursday night a few weeks back. Cincinnati pulled off a big win. Obviously, it's their only victory since the Burrow injury. Somehow they're still alive in this playoff race. They're the weirdest team that lost 6 of 7 games since Burrow's injury ever. They're kind of lucky because the division hasn't been a runaway by Pittsburgh, and Baltimore went through their issues earlier in the season. So, like I said, this AFC North race is going to get interesting. It's not going to be the end all end all. Somebody claim you can win this division with an 8-9 record. They might be right. I think the winner of this division will at least win at least 10. They'll be the fourth seed at least. So, but does Cincinnati win this game? Tough environment. Pittsburgh's a tougher place, as they know. And I'm going to go with the Steelers. I think Aaron Rodgers get a late touchdown. Could be a high scoring affair, but give me the Steelers. Final score 36-33. All right. We'll go to we'll go to another big matchup here in the. We'll go to Jacksonville and the Chargers next. I know it's not a sexy matchup, but two teams with hopeful playoff indications. Jacksonville currently holds on to the wild card spot. They're tied with the Chiefs, but remember the head to head victory against them. Chargers on the road. Like I said, dominant win on Sunday night last week. Can they keep that going, or does Jacksonville pull off another big victory against an AFC West opponent? Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, one of I'm just trying to remember my notes at this point. Yeah, the Chargers have won three of the last four. Um, the Jaguars have lost three of the last four. Um, so they're coming in. One's hot, one's not. Chargers do have well, both teams are banged up, have a lot of injuries. The Chargers' offensive line is really banged up. I know Herbert. They dominated. They had a big game last week, but Herbert did get sacked a lot. And it's going to be a common theme in most Chargers games going forward. This is their last game before their bye week. Coming out of that bye week, they should have Omarion Hampton back, which will help out. But this one going up against Jacksonville, it'll be a tough game. But Jacksonville's not. They're falling apart. So I'm going with the Chargers. Final score, 3rd and 20.
Yeah, this could be interesting. I mean, this could be a tough matchup on the road. Jacksonville is tough to deal with at home, though they played a very tough home schedule. They played Seattle, they played Kansas City, and now they're playing the Chargers. A lot of tough matchups. Like I said, they got the Colts obviously coming up soon. So yeah, this should be interesting to see if Jacksonville is capable. Remember, for Trevor Lawrence, his only playoff victory came against Justin Herbert and the Chargers on this field back in 2022. So, like I said, some history there, and they came from 27-0 to win that game, as you remember. Not saying that that's going to happen again. Jacksonville got burned last week by Houston, so of course they're going to feel a certain way about this matchup. But it should be an interesting matchup. Should be interesting. But I'm going to go with the Chargers too. But it's going to be tough. I mean, I don't know what the weather's going to be like down there in North Florida, but I think it's going to be tough. But I think the Chargers are just a little better this time, and they're not going to allow them to slip away a playoff spot here because of Jacksonville. So give me the Bolts on the road and the final score 20-17. I think it's going to be a low scoring game.
Okay. Okay.
All right, now we're going to go to the Green Bay, another disappointing team that we expected more from. They're coming off a tough Monday night loss. They're on a 2-game losing skid, especially at home. 2-game losing skid. Well, they're on the road. They're playing the Giants, who are starting anew at both head coach and at quarterback. Brian Dable is out. Jackson Dart is out for good. He's been sent packing. There are rumors about him. I'll bring up here in a moment, but all about him in a moment. But also, Jackson Dart is out with a concussion. So, famous Jameis is in. Yes, that guy. Kwame's favorite quarterback of all time. It'll be an interesting matchup. Very interesting matchup. Expect, even though Green Bay is a team that rather keep their scoring low, this is not a game they're going to want to score low. This will be a high scoring affair because Jameis Winston will make it a high scoring affair. Your thoughts? Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I mean, he should be able to help move the offense a little bit, but he's going to get a bunch of turnovers too. Green Bay, but what I always say is, I do play a little bit better for a week. I do think this is going to end up being a one-score game, but Green Bay pulls it out because they're just a much better team. So Green Bay with
Uh, so he picked Green Bay. I'll go quickly here. Obviously, when you think about the Packers, things are not going well for them. And like I said, with the Giants, you know, I can hear you a little bit.
we'll just have quick here.
Uh,
Hey, can you hear me?
yeah, I hear you.
All right. All right. Let's just go as quickly as we can because this is just going to keep happening.
Unless you want to do it off the phone, I could still do it on my Zoom.
Yeah, no, it's fine, man. Don't worry about it.
All right, I got Green Bay winning in a shootout. I got them winning 37-34.
Okay.
All right, we're going to try to go as quickly as we can. We'll go to the Monday night game. I mean, it's a garbage game when you look at the teams this year, but why not? It's Cowboys, it's Raiders. It's go ahead.
Yeah. It was Raiders. Raiders, both teams are trash, but the Raiders are really trash. Cowboys can at least put up points. So the Cowboys will win this one. Final score 34-20.
Well, the Cowboys only have one win away from Jerry World this year. Raiders are garbage. We know that. They're not a great football team. We know that. But if they play the status quo of how offenses normally play Cowboys defense, they could score points. And it's not like the Raiders are horrendous at home. They're not good, but if they can play the Cowboys defense like everybody does, they'll be able to put points up there. And Max Crosby is going to be the best defensive player by a long mile. He'll get he'll have a couple of sacks on a Dak, and I think even some of those secondary players will get a few interceptions because Dak does throw some interceptions. So I'm actually going to go with the upset here. I'm thinking the Raiders are going to win this game, and the final score 29-24. We'll go with the Raiders.
All right. All right.
All right, we're going to go to we're going to go to a interesting matchup here in the North. Your boy Caleb Williams. Bears are doing well. They've won six of their last 7 games, and right now is in a playoff spot in the NFC. But they have some tough games coming up. They played the Vikings, who they did lose to on a Monday night in the first Monday night game of the year. JJ McCarthy led them on a game-winning drive. Here's a weird fact. A couple facts about JJ McCarthy, if you could hear. JJ McCarthy 2 wins are against division foes, but he has not won a home game as a starter yet. His NFL career is bizarre. It'll work itself out when he gets more experience, but he has 2 wins on the road against the division, but he has no other wins in his career. So this should be a very interesting matchup. Can the Bears finally beat the Vikings to keep their hopes, even an outside chance of the division, even at stake? But go ahead to this one quickly.
Yeah, I mean, this one could go either way. It all depends on who he plays. I'm just gonna go with the Bears. Final score 26-23.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, this should be an interesting matchup. The Bears did dominate the Vikings in their first matchup, and then JJ led a comeback of the ages. But like I said, Vikings have not been good at home lately. They've lost their last 3 home games, and things are just not going well. And now they got to play a Bears team that has a lot of momentum. They're not doing things dominantly, but they're winning games. And Ben Johnson's got his hand on this franchise, and he's starting to prove why he's worthy of being a really good head coach, getting a lot of Caleb. So yeah, I think the Bears get their revenge on him from their first matchup. So give me the Bears here. And the final score 30-26.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go to your other team, the Buffalo Bills. Very disappointing. Very disappointing performance last week. One of the big issues they have is turnovers, as you know, and it's hurting this team and everything else. Now they have a critical matchup with another team that's also struggling a little bit, even though they're also trying to win their division in Tampa Bay. And like I said, somebody's got to get off a little bit of a snide here this tomorrow. Critical matchup, two vulnerable teams, two playoff teams. Critical, man. Critical matchup. Who gets their act together at least for this week? Go ahead.
Hey, can you hear?
Yeah, you're still coming in and out.
Game? What game?
Bills Bucks.
All right. Yeah, I'm just gonna go quick, man. It could. This is gonna be a good game. Bills aren't playing too well lately, but it's in Buffalo. Tampa going up to Buffalo usually doesn't turn out well. Really, any Florida team going up to Buffalo. So I'm gonna go with the Bills pulling it out, but it'll be a good game. 30-27.
Yeah, this should be interesting. I mean, obviously, you know, Tampa Bay coming off a tough loss against New England, and then obviously what happened with Miami. We talked ad nauseum. Like I said, this will be one of those games where Josh, big game, Josh has a turnover, but they find a way to bounce back. They're at home. They need to get going. New England winning on Thursday. Now they're they're already 2 games up on them, and they could be pulling away here. If they don't get going. So I'm going to go with the Bills here in a desperate. They have to show desperation because this division, you can't go against Vrabel. You can't if you're going to win. Vrabel's got the Patriots playing really good football right now, and I just think the Bills got to keep up, and I don't know if they can for that situation, but they'll win this game. Final score 32-28.
Yeah.
All right, so getting down to it, we only have 2 more games before we get to the Eagles Sunday night matchup. Like I said, of course, CBS likes to take their family all on the road here, so they're doing it again on tomorrow with Nance and Romo, a big matchup in the Mile High City, Denver and Kansas City. The Chiefs coming off of a bye. Denver has been playing great football, but not good. But Bo Nix has struggled this year. He's taken a step back. He has struggled this year, but he's going to be without some weapons and some key guys. Kansas City's actually favored by a few points in this game on the road. Critical matchup for both teams. Kansas City can't afford another loss if they want to make the playoffs, and Denver still has a chance at home field advantage, though they cannot afford to lose this game. Two teams they can't afford to lose, and we'll see what happens. Big matchup on the CBS's big matchup of the day. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is actually one of my picks from Wednesday. I don't know what the spread is right now, but on Wednesday was KC was giving up 4 to Denver. Um, but and my thinking is, first this game should be a tight game anyway, but KC doesn't ever blow teams out. They almost win by like 3 points or less if they win. So, giving up 4, I took Denver. Still stand by that. I think this is going to be a tight one. Obviously, Denver's got a tough defense. Offense isn't great, but um, it's not terrible. Now they are without J.K. Dobbins. It looks like he's going to be gone for. So it's now the R.J. Harvey and Tyler A show out there. Um, I'm going to say Kansas City gets the win, but it'll be a close one. But Kansas City needs a win because, like you said, if the season ended right now, they wouldn't even be in the playoffs. So they need to make up ground and make it up quick. I'm going to say pull it out with a final score of, let's say, 20-7.
If we said on the preview show that Kansas City might not make the playoffs, we all be looking like, what the hell are you talking about? And none of us said that. Some of us thought they would be the same old, but they're not the same old, same old. They have 4 losses, and this one would put them at 500, and that's not going to be good enough to make the playoffs right now. And like I said, with Denver and Kansas City, and the Chargers doing what they're doing, this is a matchup that they need, but they also is a matchup they kind of fear, being that it is in Denver. And I know Denver is struggling, going to lose some guys for injury, but Denver's defense is legit. They have 48, they have 49 sacks this season. It's pretty damn impressive. They're on pace for 77 sacks, which would be the NFL regular season record. They're on pace for 77 sacks. That's pretty crazy. And, like I said, it's going to be tough for Kansas City, I feel like. I know the Rockets got his weapons, but we know playing in Denver is not an easy place. It's not an easy place for anybody. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be close. But I think the Broncos their defense will dictate this game, and I think that's going to be enough. So I'm going with the Broncos here. Going with the Broncos. And the final score 25-20. All right, so we go quickly to the game of the week and very important game of this season. Two teams that are 7-2. Two teams that are playing really good numbers. Sadly, two teams, and you may even be on this bandwagon, that would go ahead of the Eagles in a potential conference championship matchup in January. Obviously, these are two teams that don't like each other. Seattle is looking for revenge because they missed the playoffs because of the Rams last year. A lot of bad blood, and these are two very strong teams. Damn, I would never think Sam Darnold's an elite quarterback. He's proven himself. He's proven himself to be worthy this year. But a critical matchup here. Sadly, it's such a great matchup that the league didn't realize it was going to be a great matchup. So now everybody gets to see this game. This could be used as a unanimous pick, but we aren't going to do that. This is a great matchup of top two teams in the conference in the game of the week. Critical game, very important game for both. Like I said, I haven't used the tie yet. Do I use it this week? But all seriousness, a critical matchup here. Rams Seahawks battle for first place in the West and maybe first place in the conference. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean the Rams are coming in hot. Stafford's been on fire lately. Obviously, Darnold's been playing well. JSN has really become an elite receiver in this league this year. He's really like all they have on offense in the passing game. It's just dominating. But you know what? The Rams are hot right now. I'm gonna go with the Rams. Final score. It'll be a tough one though. Final score. I'm gonna say 34-32.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting because Seattle has played really well. Think about this. The last 2 games and 3 times this year, they have gone off to leads of 28-0. In 3 games this year, they have blown out teams. You know, we know that's not going to happen in this matchup because the Rams are really good. But still, Seattle does like to streak themselves into oblivion. They don't play around. Jackson Smith and Jigma might be the best receiver in football right now, the way he's been playing. And You got to give a lot of credit to Sam Darnold and to Kate Kubiak and that entire Seattle staff. They have done a hell of a job this year, and this is a team that I don't even want to face. I mean, the Eagles won't have to face them into the playoffs, but they may have to. I mean, we know what the Rams are, but Stafford's having a hell of a year too. He has what 3 or 4 consecutive games of 3+ touchdowns and no interceptions. Something's got to give. Something's got to give, and this is going to be a battle all day. Hate to do this to you, Matt. I hate to do this. I'm putting a tie on this game. I just think that these two teams they're too equal. They're too good. Both teams are too good. I'm going to sit there and predict a 34 tie. Tie at 34.
Dude, picking a game as a tie is lamer than a game actually ending in a tie for real. Fucking
I
lame,
know,
man.
I know. I've been going back and forth, but these two teams are so good, and they're not going to let the other get away with what they're trying to do. It's just these two teams are way, way too good. I know it sucks. I know I hate to do that. We don't like ties. We don't. I mean,
Cop out. Make a pick. You're copping out. That's lamer than the actual game ending in a tie. Just say, oh, I think it's going to be a tie. You know, it's not going to be a tie.
all right. You want me to pick? All right.
Yeah, the winner, man. Fuck
All right.
ties.
All right. Rams win on a walk off in overtime. In overtime,
There you go.
37 to 34.
There you go. That's better, man.
But then again, I wouldn't be surprised if it does end in a tie. The way these two teams play. Goodness
Yeah.
gracious. All right. This one I will not pick in a tie because it's our birds. It's a Sunday night game. It's a critical game. And from a distance, Detroit's seeking revenge for no reason. There should be no revenge. They didn't play us last year, but this was supposed to be the de facto NFC championship game. And we were supposed to be the road team. Detroit was supposed to be the home team. We were going to clobber them in the second half. Saquon was going to run crazy, and the Eagles would have won by at least double digits. That didn't happen because it didn't happen. These two teams did not face each other in the playoffs. Detroit was gone before the Eagles were able to get there. So this should be an interesting matchup. This should have been the opening matchup of the season, but Dallas and Jerry Jones ran their mouths. But this should be an interesting matchup. These are two teams that obviously could be on a collision course for a potential playoff matchup, maybe even a wild card matchup or a divisional matchup. But right now, for the second straight week, the Eagles are facing the NFC North leaders. Interesting for the second straight week. But should be an interesting one. But this will not be a 10-7 slugfest like that game was. And that wasn't even a slugfest. That was just two teams that just played great defense and either offense could do shit. This will have some points involved. And does A.J. Brown play a role or does A.J. Brown doesn't? Is up to, because he ran his mouth again this week. Like I said, Dan Campbell talks about his time going to Philly or his stories, his theory stories, whatever. Critical matchup here. Sunday Night Football. Eagles, Lions, two teams with a lot to get off their chests here. A lot of talk they want to silence. But we'll see who comes out with the victory here. Go ahead.
All right. So with this game, the Eagles haven't played the Niners or the Seahawks, but other than the Lions, they've played every other legit NFC contender, and they've beaten them all. They've beaten the Rams, the Packers, the Bucs. Really, that's those three, and then the Lions, Niners, and Seahawks. They don't play the Niners and Seahawks this year, but so this is the last of the actual NFC contenders. If they can go 4-0 against them, that gives them a big leg up with tiebreakers and all that. Obviously, it's going to be a tough one. The Lions are tough. The Lions, you know, they think they're the best team in the NFC, even though the Eagles have been to two of the last three Super Bowls, won one. Lions haven't made it, but they want to prove themselves, man. They got that attitude at least that, that they're the underdog. They want to come out and prove themselves against the reigning NFL champions. I think if it was in Detroit, I might go Detroit, but it's in Philly. Like you said, AJ Brown's bitching. Usually that means he has a pretty big game after he bitches. They make a point of throwing him the ball. So I'm gonna go with the Eagles in a tight one. Um, Hopefully that offense can get going though, because there's not if they put up 10 points this week, they're not winning. But I'm gonna say Eagles with a final score of 26-24.
Yeah, this should be an interesting matchup. Obviously, like I said, Detroit is not the same team as Green Bay. They play a much different style. This will be a tougher matchup for the defense than what they had to deal with in Green Bay because there's a lot more weapons. As you know, Detroit has the best 1-2 running back punch in the league in Montgomery and Gibbs. And Gibbs is having a monster year, having a great year. You know their receivers, Amon St. Brown and a few others. They could get but they are without Sam Laporta. He's out for this matchup. He got injured late in their last week's game, and he's out for this matchup. So, and then like I said, this the theory of an indoor team. Remember, Detroit's an indoor team; they're playing outdoors, and playing Jared Goff historically has been good for the Eagles. But here's something I'm surprised you haven't known, Matt. Since what's his name, our coach Sirianni took over in 21, he has not lost a game against this division. He is 10-0 against NFC North teams. So, for whatever reason, he owns this division twice over. So 10-0. And like I said, I mean Jared Goff. Do I trust him in a big matchup? No, I don't. The Eagles' defense got much better with Jalen Phillips. You saw how much different that defense played compared to before. They couldn't get to the quarterback. They got to Jordan Love 6 times for a sack and twice fumbled for them. So to me, going Jalen Phillips was big. He was a big pickup, and he has made a whole lot difference for that defense. And of course, with Jalen Carter in the middle, there's not much you can do. So I'm saying right now, if Detroit don't get off to a fast start, the Eagles are going to win this game pretty comfortably. I don't think this is going to be as close a game as people might think. It might look that way on the score sheet at the end, but give me the birds here. I don't like Detroit in this matchup. For some reason, it's just you this defense has the potential to be on that level with the other top defenses. We got people, and Jalen Phillips fits right in. He fits right in. He's gonna have another big game. So give me the birds and the final score 33-26.
All right, bro.
33-26. All right, so we were able to get you there working here at the end. If it's my fault if I messed anything up, but
No, it's my phone. Some with my phone or the area. I don't know.
we were able to get those last few important games out of the way, and like I said, we will make sure if you come back next week, if you're ready next week, to be prepared for those. We have, like I said, on Wednesday, the look back is back at our normal time and our normal situation. Hopefully, Matt will be with us again. Even though John Smith is not going to return, at least that I know of, we we are going to try to get a Cowboy fan onto the show because it is Dallas is desperate week because we're playing the Cowboys next week. So, Kwame, he's going to have to help with that because he does have a Cowboy fan that he knows very well. And if that guy has a Zoom account, bring his ass on. So I'm going to tell Kwame that later on. and then join us. We'll hopefully join both of us either next Saturday or Sunday for the lookout week 12, the final week before Thanksgiving and that stretch drive where everything goes, where a lot of playoff teams come out or go to pasture for the season. But that's all we have for this week. And like I said, we'll be back next week. Enjoyed that great live look back that we did on Wednesday. It's out there on YouTube and my Facebook page and others. Very compelling show, and Matt has some great comments to Johnny B that had us going off, and we'll see what happens. But that's all we have for this week, and that's all.
All right, bro. All right, bro.